Are you team Bears or team Packers? How about team chocolate versus team vanilla? How about team Gap versus team Gain? And what am I even talking about? So I learned something incredible about myself when I joined a leadership mastermind program called Strategic Coach. Now, Dan Sullivan created this and has been running it for several decades now, but I learned something huge from this program about myself that I don't think was intentional and definitely was not part of the agenda. Now, during the first 180 days, we would meet up once a quarter to discuss what's working in our business and what's not, and to learn strategies to be better business owners to create a self-managing company. That was the core goal of Strategic Coach. And my particular coach noticed that I had a mindset that was probably not serving me, which is the fact that I tend to live in the gap. Now, the way they define the gap is constantly comparing yourself to where you are now versus where you'd like to be in the future. Whether that be a goal that you would like to attain, like a revenue target or a fitness goal, whatever it may be, but just being acutely aware of the deficit between you and your goal. They encourage individuals instead to operate in the gain mindset. Now, their definition of operating in the gain is instead flipping that concept and looking at where you started and how far you've come from that particular point in time. Now, what I was taught is that this is a particularly effective mindset for high achievers. And honestly, this concept was difficult for me to subscribe to because everything I've always done in my life has been motivated by the fact that I was not happy with the current status of things, so that motivated me to take action. I mean, even if you look at the concept of desiring to do something, desire is simply just a contract with yourself to be unhappy until you achieve a certain outcome. So I struggled with this concept for months and months, trying to embrace it, but ultimately I realized that this mindset would not serve me, and it wasn't compatible with my value system. I realized I enjoy the gap. The gap is my muse. It's what pulls me towards accomplishing things that seem impossible at the onset. I mean, it's the reason I started my company. So I realized this was just completely incompatible with my value system. But I also have to give Strategic Coach credit for helping me to identify that there is a downside of living in the gap, which is that I'm constantly judging myself on not attaining my goal at hand. And I think that is actually destructive. So I knew I needed to convert this into something positive. As Winston Churchill said, never waste a good crisis. One of my favorite quotes. So what I've realized for myself is that there's actually no problem living in the gap. The problem arises out of judging my performance based on external factors that are completely out of my control. So for the last 2 years, I've been extremely intentional about setting great goals, but then understanding the activities that ladder up to attaining that goal. And then instead of judging my performance based on achieving the goal or not, I give myself instead permission to judge my performance on whether I completed the activities associated with making that goal the most likely outcome. And that is harnessing the gap in the most productive way possible. If I've done the reps, but have still not accomplished my goal, I can rest easy knowing I've still fulfilled my desired contract. If you enjoy legal tech tips, make sure to follow me on LinkedIn. And of course, follow and subscribe to Paragon Tech on YouTube for full-length content and explainers relating to running a better law practice with technology. Until next time. Peace.